All right, we're taking a look at this red maple behind the garage. There's a dogwood in the foreground here, with the little rusty light green leaves, and then that dark green thing behind it. It's just big red maple here. Garage here, son's car there, mom and dad there. And one of the advantages of working in kind of the same area for many, many years is that you can come back and look at what these trees look like years and years and years after you saw what happened to them, or saw the pruning or the cabling or whatever. And so we got some really long branches reaching right out here, right, whatever that is, 35, 40 feet away from the trunk. A lot of small, lower stuff, you know, and notice how all these lower branches have been left. There hasn't been a lot of pruning, you know. There's lots of low branches, lots of green on this tree. And if you looked at the trunk from here, you're like, oh, that's a pretty good looking trunk. That doesn't look too bad, right? But I was just talking to the owner of this house, and how long ago, Dave, were we thinking this is?
Had to be 15 years ago.
Yeah, we're thinking 15 years that this piece of this codon ripped out. And at the time I told him, you should cable this thing, we should prune it, take some weight off. And when I saw that thing still standing here today, when I got in the yard to grind and stump, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that thing's still there. And I looked at this wound, and he said, we definitely did not cable this tree. But there's one big lead there, and then there's the other big lead out there. And this thing, just FYI, if you want to see what 15 years of decay looks like, it looks like that. There's just a little bit of a wall of good wood on the outside, whatever this is going to be, 6 inches or something max, maybe 4.5. And the whole interior of this trunk is now all decayed. And just FYI, what happens with trees is they compartmentalize decay. They do not wound. They compartmentalize decay around old wounds. They can never heal with scar tissue the way a human or an animal will take damaged tissue and just regrow new tissue. They simply grow around, and they try to wall off and the decay. But when you see a codon like this that's ripped out, there's no way that's ever going to be able to compartmentalize. So then the race begins. As the tree gets weaker from the old wood, whatever existing wood there was at the time the wound happened, that we're going to call that the old wood. Whatever that's going to slowly start to rot out as the new wood, all this new callus growth and the new annual growth ring on the outside of the tree here, all this new wood is being put on every year. So now trees can be pretty strong and healthy with up to 70% decay. So if you think, what's that? That's less, a little more than 2/3 decay. So if you have a third good wood, basically, if you have a 3-foot trunk and you have a hollow 2 feet in the inside and there's 6 inches of good wood on the edges, that would be considered a sound wood in most species. White oak, you know, for example, can be really, really hardy with up to 85, 90, even 95%. I've seen them finally fall over with like 95+% decay in the main stems here. But this thing's getting big and it's getting heavy, and it's only a matter of time before it falls apart. And when it falls apart, it's going to land on the garage and it's going to land on the cars. And he's like, well, I got insurance. I'm like, yeah, but why would you do that? And I also want to point out one of my thoughts here as to why, which honestly, I'm surprised this thing's still standing, because I remember how bad this wound was so many years ago. One of the things I like to point out is all these lower branches. It's my belief that all those lower branches help to strengthen the trunk of that tree. There's no other wounds. He didn't do any there's no other cuts made. Even that dead piece right there, he left it. And so that decay is very slowly working its way in there. It would have had a lot more easier time entering the main stem here if there had been a cut made on that. And then there's that little branch right there. You see that little branch? He left that little branch. And so my belief is all these lower branches and these interior limbs that have been left do help the tree fortify the structure of the tree to survive these types of wounds. So I find this to be a fascinating tree. I'm going to try to get in here with the bucket truck and do some pruning on it, and maybe we'll get a cable in it, and or maybe just have it removed. I don't know. It seems like it lived so long, so far. It would be a shame to lose it now. But on the other hand, I told him, look, you got to do something with this tree. It's only a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. So maybe that'll be the title of this video. It's not if, it's just when. Thanks for watching, guys. Your comments, please. Thank you.